Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am the Sound Meister Will G. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. On today's video, I'm going to give you guys some straight to the point information on something that I'm always putting so much emphasis on, and that is the sound enhancer, which is better known as the equalizer. So today I'm going to take you guys through the full walkthrough of the flow equalizer, which I use and I always use in my demonstrations of sound. So right now, without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into it. With this particular equalizer here, we have the equalizer setting. You have the bass boost, loudness, virtualizer, and the audio balance. Also at the bottom of this list, they have a current profile of whichever headphone or earbud setting that you are listening to. Now, what we want to do is I want to walk you guys through each one of these so you will know. So if you're someone who's just starting and you say, you know what, I'm really not sure about all these settings, but I want my music to sound good, no worries. I'm going to walk you through this right now. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to come to our settings tab, and in the settings tab, they have everything that this particular one has. Okay, we've got everything from the theme, add a shortcut to your home page, number of EQ bands, single band adjustment, which will give you left and right. You can adjust individually. You have an advanced limiter, which eliminates the loudness setting of it, but you still can use the loudness in the equalizer itself. You also have the global mix connection, which that means that when you bring up your music, this will automatically attach to whatever streaming profile you're listening to, whether it's Tidal, Spotify, YouTube Music. It will always attach, so the equalizer will always be in place when you turn it on. They have another one called the processing time, which is in milliseconds, which basically is raised the value, will improve the audio quality and reduce clipping at the cost of increased latency. So you can basically set this where you want it to get the best sound that you're looking for. And you also have a hide and show notifications, a battery disable, meant for optimization, backup and restore your settings, and such. So all of that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the equalizer band settings, because once you go through these, you can take your time, see what feels comfortable to you, for you, and then once you have it set, you leave it. Now, for people who really aren't sure about how to use an equalizer, the 5-band is the best one to start with, because it gives you 2 more bands than a 3-band equalizer, which some headphones and earbuds, they have already installed a 3-band, maybe even a 2-band equalizer. So what this does, this will give you a much better sound. So right now we are set for the 5 bands, and I'm going to show you how this works. So we get out of here. Once we come out, you want to come to the equalizer setting on the page, and you want to turn it on. You want to engage it. This is going to give you your 5 bands, and also is going to have presets here that you can use that will give you somewhat of a template on how to adjust and set your music up. So as you see how I'm tapping on certain settings here for different genres of music, it's giving you different pre-populated settings. Again, these are only a template. Some of these are close to what you're listening to, and some are not as close. But that's neither here nor there, because what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to play with this, and you can make these adjustments on your own so you can see what type of sound you prefer, whether you like a style of music that has very little to no bass in it, but you have more mids and highs, or if it's something that you want where you have total bass And when you have no highs, using some trap music or some hip hop bass music, you can do that. Or if it's just a basic setting for classical or jazz, you can set that as well also. So in this particular setting, again, the bass boost, your loudness, your virtualizer, and your audio balance, these settings remain on all pages. No matter which setting you use, you always have these there. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take you guys to the next one, which is going to be the 7-band equalizer. So we're going to hit the 7. We're going to come back to our main page for the flow equalizer, and we're going to engage it. This right here is your 7-band equalizer. This will definitely give you more tuning ability than the 5-band would, because again, 7 is more than 5, which means better sound. Not that detailed, accurate sound, but it will give you good sound. So once again, once you start getting into here, again, you can change the frequency settings, up, down, depending on what you're listening to. You can detail the music the way you like to detail it. Another thing that I want to mention to you guys is that in the setting where the bass boost is, there are frequencies that you can change, which I want to do that when I get into the 10 and the 12. But it will work for all of these settings, no matter which one you use, okay? So again, once you are playing your music, and if it's something that you really don't like, you don't like the way it sounds, all you want to do is simply sit back, take your time, and you want to adjust these slides to get the nice tailored sound that you prefer to listen to, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys, let me get out of this. We are going to move to our next setting, which is going to be our 10-band. Now, this comes default. Once you download this on your device, it's going to come automatically in a 10-band default setting, which is going to look like this. Okay. Once again, the more bands you have, the more detailed and precise sound you can achieve. So again, same as with the 5-band. The slides, you can move these any way you want, up, down, take out bass, add bass, mid-range, treble. This will give you a much better sound than the 5 and the 7. Now, like I stated just a few seconds ago, once we are in this particular setting, I just want to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to put this in a setting, and let's leave it at acoustic. Once you go into a particular setting, it's going to remain there. Any adjustment that you make in these values, it will automatically change to a custom mode, because it is no longer, in this particular case, in acoustic. So if I come down here to my high end where my treble is at 16,000 hertz, and I move this slightly, it just changed to custom. If I put it back, sometimes if I get it precise, it'll jump back to the acoustic. But I'm telling you this because when you bring these up, there is no right or wrong way. It just depends on what you want to listen to and how you're listening to it to make these adjustments. So we're going to come back here to the acoustic setting, which you can see right here. And once again, if I come down to my low end, and as you can see right here, it's acoustic. I'm going to move this from 7 to a 6.7. It's in a custom mode. Everything else looks the same, but because of one simple change, it moved it to a custom mode. Just remember that when you're tuning, it would help you and make it a little bit easier for you guys to use that as you're adjusting along the way. Now, what I wanted to do was, in this particular mode, I'm going to give this just a custom setting, which you can see right here, which is fairly good. Now, when we come down here to the bass boost, This is the trick to it all right here for that nice smooth low end. Everything is set at 80 hertz default. Okay. What you want to do is, if you listening to a song and you want to add more bass to it on the gain, you want to slide this up slowly to get that right nice smooth boost that you feel like for that particular song is going to work for you. Now once you have that, if you say, well, you know what, the bass sounds nice, but I want to give a little bit more, you can come down here and you tap on, I want you got to see this real carefully here. When you get down here to this one, which says bass boost frequency, just tap it and it'll bring up this screen. Once this screen comes up, okay, we're going as low as 10 hertz all the way up to 150 hertz of bass. So our default is always going to be set at 80. So should you be listening to some heavy bass music and you really want to take it very low, that nice low, almost subsonic type sound, you're going to start getting around that 20 to 10 hertz range. You know, I really don't recommend it, but some songs, it sounds nice, but you have to know how to adjust that 10-20 hertz range along with the other frequencies of the enhancer to have it to blend, where you're not getting too much mid-range and high end out of it, and you're not getting enough of the bass. That's why these are always set at a 80 hertz default. I've gone down as low as 40 to 30, and my music, certain things sound fine. Once I get down here to the 20 to 10, I find myself having to readjust. Just a little FYI for everybody. But most of the time, with your bass frequency range, the optimum range to really keep it in my opinion, and this is just strictly my opinion, would be lowest would be 60 to maybe say 100, 110, depending on what I'm listening to. So if I'm really not sure about my music, leave it at 80. And then if you want to experiment, bring it up to 90 hertz on the same song. Bring it to 100. You'll slowly begin to hear those subtle changes, which means your bass is going to sound a little bit louder. It's not going to be as deep. But when we start moving down into that 70, 60, and 50 hertz range, that's when we're really going to get deep. So wanted to give you guys that as that insight, because I know I talk about this a lot and I show you guys, oh, do this, do that. This is how you get this good sound. But I want you guys to actually be able to go through this so you can fully understand and see how these work. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to close this out. We're going to leave that there. So right now, I'm going to jump to the one that I use. I'm on the 12 band. I played all of these, and what I have discovered is that the 12 band for this particular sound enhancer is going to give you the best bass, best frequency from a perspective of someone who's you're that intermediate level to getting to that point of wanting to get that fine detailed sound. So we're in the 12 band EQ setting here. We're going to come back, and once again, each time you change the equalizers, you have to turn them on, and this is what we get. Now, this was already set in something I was listening to last night. So as you can tell, this is one of my personal settings, and this particular one is for my BMW PI7 S2s. This is my R&B one. So I have multiple settings for one pair of earbuds and headphones. So depending on what I'm listening to, I can go in, which I'll show you guys. Just let me share something real quick. We're going to load a profile for my BMWs. So on my BMW PI7 S2s, I've got a jazz setting. This is what one of my jazz settings look like right here. And then I'm going to load another one. Let me give you one for my Jazz 2, which is right here. This is another setting. So when you look at these different settings, they may not look like they change very much, but the sound quality and what you hear changes tremendously to minute to it's okay. All depends on how you set it. So what I really would recommend is that, please take your time, play with these, adjust them, tune them, so you can really get the feel of what these can do. Now, all of that being said, I want to show you guys something. I'm going to come to a flat setting. This is 12 bands. So just so you understand, I'm looking at 31 hertz, 62, 125, 250, and 500. This is all on my low end. The 1000 and 2000 are considered your mid-range level. Vocals normally come in between 2000 and 8000, depending on whether you're a baritone or a soprano. But normally those are going to be, now if you're like that person who hits those high notes that break glass, you're going to be down here close to that 16,000 kHz range. Okay, so that being said, I know it sounds a little bit technical, but I'm going to break this down real simple. So if you're listening to a song by Whitney Houston and she's really hitting those super high notes, you don't really need to have this blaring up here. As you can see, Whitney Houston has one of those voices that she can climb the octaves pretty well in her music. So the whole object of the game is to adjust your high end to try to bring out the artist's voice to that level where it sounds like if you're sitting in a room and you have your eyes closed and you have the music up at about 60% is where I play mine. And when you close your eyes, the whole object is to sound and feel like you are in the room with that particular artist. So for a Whitney Houston song, most of them that I've listened to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust this off of from what I know from how I've heard it with her vocals and the way I listen to it. I'm going to bring this up just to show you guys, because I can't play it due to copyright rules and regulations, but I want to just show you how I would set a Whitney Houston song. Now, this might not look like it's anything worth talking about, but I will guarantee you, if we put on some Whitney Houston on this particular setting that I just did off of the rip, you would be astounded by what you hear, because I know how her voice is. We can take another singer. Let's do Michael Jackson, for example. If we went with the Michael Jackson, we want to be somewhere around, our emphasis is going to be up in here with Michael. And then I'll bring this up, the 12 to 16. I'm always going to keep my highest end, which is the one furthest to the right. That's always going to be beneath my 12,000 hertz frequency because of the way he sings. Okay, so for a Michael Jackson song, this would be where I would want to have him. And then everything else on the low end, as we start to get into his low harmonics of his voice, we want to slowly bring these up. So again, like I said, the whole idea of an enhancer is you want to bring that person's voice to life. Whereas if you're sitting home on your sofa with your eyes closed and you have your headphones or your earbuds on, you want it to be like that artist is directly in front of you. That's how you can tell. But the key to it also is you have to have the volume turned, in my opinion. And I've done this off of multiple different songs. When you turn the volume up to a certain level, you can truly sound like you can hear everything that's in that music. I listen to a lot of, I guess you could say, symphony music and orchestra. You hear everything. gentleman once told me, he said, classical and jazz are the best songs to tune with. I also incorporate orchestras and also symphonies, in my I guess I would say my music file for my Spotify that I use. So I can pretty much adjust. If I know a certain song is coming up and I want to adjust blind, I can adjust it blind, leave it, and make very few settings to get that sound I'm looking for. Bring up my volume. I can sit back and it sounds like I'm in the room with the musician. So I know I said a lot, but I really want you guys to understand that, when you have an sound enhancer, or if you want to call it an equalizer, they are both the same thing. The bottom line is these are used to tailor and fine tune your music so that you are able to get the best possible sound out of it that you can get. Now, the other thing with this particular equalizer that I like is now that I'm in a 12 band mode, this is where it gets good, everybody. Now I can come down here to my bass boost and also my loudness. So what I like to do is, depending on what I'm listening to, I've tried this all the way up to 100%. Does not work. I would not do this at all. The reason why is the bass is gonna sound crappy. So to get a nice, smooth, optimum sound bass, if you're listening to somebody like, say, Jelly Roll, for example, his music is like bass packed. The most I would play on a Jelly Roll song would be about maybe 20%. Now, if I'm at 20% on a particular song I'm listening to from Jelly Roll, and I say, you know what, I really want to pump it, on my loudness gain, I'm only going to bring it up no more than about 3 dBs. That's it. Because once you pass certain levels of adjusting, you're going to start to lose the integrity of the music. The bass will become muddy. The vocals will start to sound like they're tearing up. You're going to get a lot of distortion in them. So my recommendation would be, if you're listening to any type of heavy bass music and you use this particular equalizer setting, or if you use any one that you can find with the 12 band, do not take the bass frequency past 20% and the loudness past 3 decibels. Even though the decibel gain would take you up to 20 decibels, I guarantee you it's not going to sound good. Trust me, I tried it. So the best thing to do is, depending on what music you're listening to, just slowly adjust this until you find that nice, good little sweet spot, and you leave it set. And once you have these set, you can go back in. You make your adjustments on your equalizer here. And then once you have those done, you can come in. I'm going to just do something real quick, and I'm going to just show you guys. We're going to put it, let's do some pop. Oh no, that is way off of pop music. So what I'm going to do is, just off the fly, we're going to adjust. We're going to readjust this. And I'm going to leave this setting here. And what we are going to do is, all of the settings that I made, I want to show you guys something. I'm just going to do this like so. Okay, now I'm going to leave this setting where it is. Okay, my bass boost gain is at 20%, and my loudness is, we want to put this at 3 decibels. So 3 dBs, we're going to come right here. So we're going to drop this here. We'll leave it at 3.1. Won't hurt anything. So right now, once we have this setting, you can come in and say, you know what? I really like this. I want to save it. Come up here, save as profile. We're going to use this as we're going to say pop setting. We're going to say pop setting sample. Pop setting sample. Then you're going to close your keyboard down and you're going to save that particular setting. Profile saved successfully will come up on the bottom. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to load up another profile. This is one that I have, my B&W classical one. So now what we're going to do is we are going to come back up here, load profile. We want to find the profile which we just saved. Oh God, I got a lot of stuff on here. Here we go. Pop setting sample. Now this is what I want you guys to see. The one that we just saved is right here. It's going to tell you exactly how you saved it. You've got the bass turned on, the EQ is on, which is active on all of them, and you have the loudness on. So this is my bass boost and this is my loudness, okay? And when we come and we click on this, it automatically will change and it will tell you what it changed to. And on the bottom of the list down here, it's going to show you current profile, pop setting sample. So you have a multitude of ways that you can play with this. You can change it. If you come in and you say, you know what, I want to add a little bit more bass. I don't want the bass so deep at the 90. I want to put it at about 100 hertz. All you do, you tap the 100, and here we go. Bass boost frequency is set to 100 hertz, and that's all you do. This is simply a thing of adjusting and listening to your music. So the more you listen to it, the more you play with it and you go through it, you'll begin to understand how tuning and how to improve sound works. And to be honest, you know, I love it because it takes the music to another level. So I want you guys to please, if this is not one that you are interested in, I'm going to put a picture of it up at the end of this video so you guys can maybe, if you are Android users, you can go to the Play Store, download it, set it up and everything, test it out, see what you like, you don't like, go to the different settings that are on there, use those. As you find things that you like, go ahead, lock them in, save them for all of your headphones, your earbuds, or whatever type of music that you like to listen to. So if you have, for example, one pair of earbuds, you might have 5 different settings. You may have a pair of headphones, you may only have 3 settings. So it really does not matter how many settings you put on these. But what is important is that you learn how to adjust these frequencies based upon music that you listen to and make the adjustments. And also I would recommend to, if you really want to get down to the fine tuning, make a folder of whatever streaming service you listen to, whether it's Tidal, YouTube Music, whichever one that you prefer. Make a list of sample songs that you can tune. In some of my previous videos, I gave the list of some songs that I used. You can go back and get those songs, play them to help you to tune it. Some of the videos I actually have settings that I have used and I have put up for you guys to use to go back that will give you a baseline so you can try to get the music down yourself how you like it. And really at the end of the day, it's all about simply adjusting your music to get the optimum sound that is right for you. Because at the end of the day, the money that you spend on headphones and earbuds are an investment. No matter what anyone says, it's an investment. So if you're going to invest in something, you want to get the best and the most out of it that you can possibly get. So everybody, I hope this video was informative for you. I have another one that I'm working on that is a monster EQ that I'm going to do a video on. I'm going to put up. And for all of my audiophiles who really like that fine, detailed, precise music, I've got something special coming up just for you all. So again, I hope that this was an informative and informational video that you were able to get something from. And until the next time, see you guys on the next video. Have a good day, everybody.